Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Okay, meanwhile, those who have joined, as you can see, the question is in on your screen. You can just reply it in on yes or no. Okay, and I'll just give you a brief intro of today's live session that what we are going to do. Okay, so as you guys already know that today's live session is based on Python decorators, which we have seen in our last week live sessions, and today also it will be continued from there. Okay, so we are on Python decorators part 3. Today basically we are going to focus on the intermediate level questions, okay, which are used in our industries. Okay, and then what we are going to do, first of all, as usual, we start with our quiz session. Okay, so to just do the practicing. Okay, so we'll start with the quiz session. Then I'll just give you a brief intro of Python decorators again. Okay, and then we'll move to solve the intermediate level questions. Okay, so this will be the whole live sessions, what you can say, whole live session, what we are going to follow. Okay, so in this way we are going to follow. So yeah, now as you can see, the first question is in your screen, that is, that can a function be assigned to a variable in Python, yes or no? Okay, um, I can see one reply in the chat, yes. So okay, so I'll go with that. Yes. So yes, a function can be assigned to a variable in Python. We can do so. So yes is correct. Let's move to the next question. That is, now I have keep the level of this quiz questions very basic so that everyone should participate and answer it. Okay. So yeah. Now guys, your next question is it possible to pass a function as an argument to another function? Yes or no? Okay, so yes. Yes, it is possible to pass a function as an argument. In the last week also when we were solving some problems on decorators, so we have seen that, okay, that how we can pass a function as a parameter. So yes, we can do so, okay. Now see guys, for mastering in decorators, okay, first of all you have to be good with the Python functions, okay. You should understand all the things of function, that how it works, how you return it, how nested functions work. Okay, and then there is the types of parameters, I mean the arguments. What are the different types of arguments we can pass in a function? These things we have to understand. Okay, so we'll see a brief of that also. So that's why I have put functions also in the quiz session, and I have included decorators also. Okay, so questions will be from both, from Python functions and from decorators. Okay, so as I can see, yes is there in the chat. So yeah, function can be passed as an argument. Okay, one interesting question is there on recursive functions. That is, as you can see over here, can functions in Python be recursive and still have default parameters. It means that uh, can Python functions be recursive? And with recursive, can it have default parameters also? Is it that so? If we can do so, yes. If not, then no. Okay. Okay, I can see here there is one. Okay. Yes, not sure. Okay. Okay. So there is a guess. Yes. So guys, the answer is also yes only. That yes, a function in Python can be recursive and we can keep the default parameters also. Okay. Okay, let's go with the next question. Okay, one more good question. Okay, and very basic question, that is, can a Python function exist without parameters and without return value? Yes or no? Okay, so yes is the answer. So yeah, yes, a Python function can exist without parameter and without return value also. Means simply you can create a function and you can use a simple print or you can perform whatever you task you want to perform. Okay. So yeah, that can also be done. So yes is the correct answer. Okay. Okay, guys, your next question is, can decorators modify the behavior of a function without changing its actual code? Yes or no? Now, I've told you that there will be a mix of questions of Python functions and decorators. Okay, so now this question is of decorators, that can the decorators modify a behavior of a function without changing its actual code? Yes or no? Okay, yes. Okay, I can see yes. So yeah, yes is the correct answer. Okay, that we have seen that also. Okay, that the decorators modify the behavior of a function. Okay, without changing its actual code. Yes, it is true. Now guys, the very next question which I'm giving you, I think only those can reply the answer of this question. Those who have worked with decorators. Okay, is it possible to change multiple decorators on the same function? This question means that can we apply multiple decorators on a same function, on the same function? Can we do so? So as I can see, there is only uh, one reply, that is yes. So yes, we have seen this also, that it is possible to change multiple decorators. Okay, means we can apply multiple decorators on the same function. Okay, and it will be executed also, and there will be no error. So yes, we can do so. Okay, guys, your next question is, does a decorator always require functools.wraps to work correctly? Now, this is one, you can say one library, functools, in which there is a method called as wraps, okay, which is in, okay, if I'll explain more, I'll give you the answer. So first, let me know the answer and then I'll give you the correct answer, okay? Okay, it seems very few people have joined the live session, okay? So I can see that only one person is active, is replying. Okay, it's okay. No, we never used. Yeah. Now, guys, let me tell you one thing about this func tools, that see, uh, it's not necessary that you will use that. We have used the nested functions also, but there is this module, you can use this also, okay? We have some, we'll see where there I have put some questions for today's live session in which we are going to use this library to create a decorator, okay? So we are going to explore this. So always, no, it's not always, means it not always requires it, but you can use it, okay? Okay, guys, next question is at the rate static method a built-in decorator in Python? Yes or no? Is a static method is a built-in decorator in Python? Yes or no? Okay, so yes. So yes is the correct answer. Okay. Static method is a built-in decorator in okay Python decorators. So yeah. Okay, guys, your next question is can decorators take arguments themselves? Means decorator with parameter. Is it possible? Yes or no? Okay, I can see yes. So yeah, yes is the correct answer. Okay. Yes, a decorator can take argument themselves also means decorator with parameter is also possible. We have seen this type of question also. Okay. So yeah, we can do so. Okay. Now guys, the next question is based on Python functions. That is that can a Python function return multiple values? That can we return multiple values on a Python function? Yes or no? Okay, so I can see one person has replied yes, and it is a very basic question also. So yeah, Python function obviously can return multiple values. We have seen that also. So yes is the correct answer. Okay, so yes, you are right. Okay, guys, next question is this question number 11 is at the rate class method a decorator in Python? Yes or no? Okay, yes, yeah. So class method is also a built-in decorator in Python. So yes, it is also a decorator. So yes is the correct answer. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Now this question will be based on Python functions. Let's see this question. Now question number 12. Can a Python function have both positional and keyword arguments together? Okay. So in one Python function, can we keep both positional and keyword arguments? Is it possible? Can we do so? Is it possible? Okay, as I can see, yes is there in the chat. So yeah, yes is the correct answer. Okay, we can have both. Okay, okay. Guys, your next question is, now this question is very good. Okay, it is actually a comparison with other languages. Okay, so does Python allow function overloading like Java or C++ allows? Okay, I can see that there is one yes in the chat. Okay, uh, see the answer could be both yes or no, but mostly if you'll say 70% or 80%, okay, is no. That function overloading is directly not supported in Python, okay, but tints of function overloading you can feel or you can achieve in Python, that is using the default arguments. Okay, using the default arguments you can use it, or you can have the same purpose, you can achieve the same thing, but actually it is no. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Okay guys, your next question is this: does a Python function always return none if no return statement is used? Yes or no? Okay, I'm again repeating the question. Does a Python function always return none if no return statement is used? Yes or no? Okay, I can see one yes in the chat. Okay, two yes in the chat. Yeah, so I'll go with yes. So those who are saying yes, it is correct that the Python function will always return none if return statement is used. Okay, so yeah, yes is correct. Okay, guys, your next question is, now it is based on real life use case. Okay, so those who have explored decorators more deeply, okay, they will understand the question and they can reply it and they can give the correct answer, that can decorators be used in real world apps for logging or authentication checking or for caching up on memory? Okay, so for these operations can we use decorators? Okay, now we have seen one of the things. Okay, means we have seen an example on one of things out of these three. So those who have attended that live session, they can reply. Okay, it will be easy now. So yeah. Okay, so there is one yes in the chat. Okay, so okay, I'll go with yes. So yes, decorators can be used in real world apps like for logging, for checking authentication, and for hacking and all. Yes, we can use decorators. And today we are going to see all of these three things. Okay, so it will be more clear with the example. So, yes. Now, guys, give me the answer of this question. That is question number 16. Can decorators be applied to Lambda functions using syntax? Yes or no? Means it's simple. Can the decorators be applied to Lambda functions? Means can we use uh, the decorators on Lambda functions using the syntax? Or let's make easy for you. If you remove the symbol, then also you can tell me that can we use decorators on Lambda functions? Yes or no? First tell me that. It's very easy, guys. We have discussed on this topic previously also, okay? Okay, I think no one knows the answer, okay? It's okay. I'll just I'll give you the answer. The answer is no. On Lambda function, decorators cannot be applied, okay? So no is the correct answer. Now, guys, this was all about the quiz sessions. Okay. And now I hope those who are watching, okay, you have got a good practice. Now let's move to the next thing, the next session. That is, we'll discuss about we'll see from the basics about the Python decorators. So those who already know about Python decorators from our live session or from other places also, other materials also, it's good, it's fine. But why I'm starting again from basic? Because people, those who are new today or those who will watch this video in future, so they should also get a brief idea about what is Python decorator, how it works, so that we can move to the intermediate level session. So this session will be very, I'll try to keep it very short, okay? Because we have already seen Python decorators. So but again we'll start from the basic, okay? So I'll just try to wrap it up quickly, okay? And if anyone has any problems, so they can ask in the chat, okay? Yeah. So we have to discuss decorators in Python. Okay. Now, before starting decorators in Python, what I'll do, I'll just first, uh, what I'll just first recall you guys about functions in Python, because decorators are nothing but it is a concept of nested function only. Only two or three extra things gets added. Okay, it's like a feature which is added to our normal function. Okay, first understand this thing. Decorators are like a feature, like an extra feature that we add on our normal functions. Okay, that is the main basic thing which we should know about the decorators, that it is an extra feature. Okay, now before starting decorators, I'll just recall you guys about functions in Python. Okay, so if we'll talk about functions in Python, so what we can see or what we can talk about if we'll talk about functions in Python. So uh, first of all, guys, functions are first class object. Okay, functions are first class object. Okay, now what do you mean by first class object? It means that you can assign functions to a variable. Okay, so let's say the first thing is that you can assign them to a variable. That you can do. Second one is you can pass them as arguments. And the third thing is that you can return them also, means you can return functions also, means you can return them from other functions also. Okay, so that's why, because these three things are possible, we can do with Python functions. Okay, so that's why functions are the first class object. Okay, because you can see so much modularities. It can be passed as an argument also, it can be assigned to a variable also, and it can return from another function also. That also we can do. Okay, so that is about the functions. If you want to see a normal example, so you can take the very basic example of creating a greet function with having a parameter name in which you can return, okay, that hello, and then you can return the very parameter, and then you have to call the function. Now you guys have to know that uh, why we need to call the function, because when you create a function, it is only defined. To execute the function, we have to always call it. It is the basic thing. Okay, now now let's satisfy these three things. Okay, so first of all, uh, you can pass them as arguments, that we'll see. Return from other functions, that is also one thing that we'll see, but you can see we can return something. Okay, now this is the first thing, which is what, which is we can assign it to a variable. So as you can see, I'm calling the function and I'm storing it in a variable called as say hello, and I'll call it with suppose Tom. Okay, now in order to execute this, now it will not be executed. In order to execute this, I have to print say hello now. So I'll use the print function to print, and then I'll print it. So when I'll print it, the whatever the return is, it is being stored in say hello variable, and when I'm printing the say hello variable, that value is getting printed, that is hello Tom. So this is an example of a normal function. Then let's see one more example that is based on function inside functions. Okay, which is also called as nested functions. So I'll just write over here nested functions. So def outer, then what I'll do, def inner. So there is one outer function, there is one inner function. Inside the inner function, I'll just simply print that I am inside inner function. And what I'll do, inside the outer function, I'll call the inner function, and coming out, I'll just call the outer function. Okay, and let's see how it works. So now you can see inside the outer function we have called the inner. So inner is being called inside the outer function only, and then the outer function is called. So it will work like this. First, the outer function will be called. When the outer function will be called, it will go directly here. Okay, execution will be start. Then it will see that there is a definition for a inner function, and then the inner function is called. So then this function will be executed. So first this will be called. So the function approach will go here. Then a function is defined, and then inner is called. So then this will be executed. Okay, this is how it works. Now this was nested function. Let's see the feature, the third feature, that was that function returning a function. Let's see that. Okay, so def, okay, I'll just do what, I'll just take the same example and I'll do little bit modifications. Okay, so first of all, let me give you uh functions returning function. Now instead of print, I'll do what, I'll just return. Okay, I'll return this. I'm inside inner function. Okay, then instead of calling the inner function, now I'll do what, I'll return the inner function now. Okay, so I'll use the return statement in the outer function, and then I'll just simply return inner. Then I'll do what, whenever I'm calling outer, I'll assign it to a variable func, and then I'll just simply, okay, so I'm inside inner function. This was returning a function, okay. Now let's see one more example, okay, which I'll quickly create it. That is for seeing that how we can pass a function as a parameter to another function, okay. So pass function as a parameter. So I'll just quickly create a function called as shout that will take a parameter as text, okay. And what I'll do on shout, I'll do text dot upper. I'll call the string method upper. So whenever I'll call the shout, what will happen? It will convert the text in uppercase, okay. Then I'll create a function called as whisper, okay. Again, I'll follow the same approach. I'll pass a text, okay, and I'll return, but this time on whisper I'll just do lower, okay. Now I'll create the function called as greet. In this greet, I'll pass a func. Okay, now as you can see, now this func is a function. Okay, so we are passing a function on the greet function. So we are taking a function as a parameter. Now return will do what? Now we'll return the function. Okay, the function which we are taking as a parameter that we are going to return. But when we'll return, we have to give one text over here. Okay, and that text is whatever you want to do. So let's say hello world, or let's make it more good. Hello Python learners. Now we have created the function, now we have to call it. So we'll call the function greet, and now as you can see, the greet function takes a function as a parameter, and we are going to use these two functions, and these two functions takes a text as a parameter. That's why when we were returning with a text, okay. Now on this greet, because this greet takes a parameter of a function, so we'll pass either shout or whisper. So let's first pass shout, okay. So as you can see, the whole text has been converted to uppercase. Now I'll do what? I'll just again call one more time greet whisper hello Python learners in lowercase. So this was all the three things which proves that Python function is a first class object in Python. Okay. Now I hope it is clear to you guys. Okay. Whenever you guys watch this video, it will be clear to you guys that a function is a first class object because it satisfies those three things which we have mentioned. Now let's move to the next topic, that what is decorator. Okay. So let's talk on this topic, that what is a decorator. So guys, a decorator is just a function, okay, that does what? That basically takes that does two, three things. Let me just write. First, it also takes a function as input. Okay. So first thing is that it takes a function as an input. Okay, it means function as a parameter. Then it adds some extra features. Okay, features you can say, functionality you can say, behavior you can say, okay, whatever you want to say, you can use the word, okay. So you can want, if you want to use a feature, you can use feature. If you want to use functionality, so you can use functionality. If you want to use behavior, so you can use behavior also, okay. So it adds some extra functionality, okay. Now third one is that it returns the modified function, okay. So it returns the modified functions. So whatever the normal function is, that execution will be done. Whatever you want, you were performing in your original function or the normal function, let's say, okay, that will be done. But whatever you want to add extra means, suppose you want to add some print function before the function call or after the function call or after the function executed. So you can do those things, okay? So those things you can perform using decorator. Now I hope it is clear. And if you want just like this, a function plus a wrapper, which will make it a decorator, which will make it a decorator. Now I hope the concept of decorator is clear. If the concept of decorator is clear, now let's just look a simple example, okay, so that to make it more clear using programming. So I'll do what? I'll just use the same names. I'll use decorator only to create a decorator function so that it will be more clear for you guys. So def decorator, uh, as the definition says, that it takes a function as an input. So it is taking a function as a parameter, as an input. Okay, as you can see, def decorator, we have defined a decorator function, and it is taking a func as a parameter. Means func means function as a parameter. Then what we are going to do, we are going to wrap our function, means wrap our normal function with some extra features. Okay, so we are going to add some extra features. So for adding the extra feature, what we have to do, we have to create a wrapper class, not class, a wrapper function. Okay, now this wrapper function can also take parameters. Okay, now when to take parameter, that I'll tell you. First let's see the example, okay, and then we'll discuss about that also. Now, first of all, call the function. So whatever the function you have taken in the decorator, just call it inside the wrapper. Now, wrapper means what? Suppose think of like a gift. If you have a gift, okay, if you have ordered something, if you want, suppose there is a situation, you want to go to a birthday party. You are invited in a birthday party, okay? And so you have to take a gift. Now, what you will do? You just directly order the gift and directly take it. No, you just wrap the gift with beautiful papers, okay? With wrapping papers. So why you wrap it? To make it look more good, to to make it more surprising, so that the person should not guess it what is inside it, okay? That is the feature. So what features you added on that gift? You added surprise, okay? Then you added uh, what you say? Make it more beautiful, okay? The decoration of it. So you just make it look with the eyes more prettier. So you are decorating it. Okay. That is the wrapper function here. That's the job of the wrapper function. Suppose think of like this normal function as a gift. So this is the gift. What you are going to do? So I am going to add, I'll just add uh wrapping wrapping paper to it. So I have add wrapping paper to it. Okay. Then what more I want to add? So I want to add a emotion, that is surprise. Okay. Okay. Let's say surprise. Okay. A surprise. Okay. Now let's add one more thing, that it adds one more thing, that after function runs, this is going to run. Okay. Now this is all. See, if you want to perform more things, if you want to add more features, you can add it. If you want to add more print, if you want to add more operations, you can add it. You can go ahead with that, no problem. But for now, I just want to add these three things, these three print functions only, so I have added it. Okay, now I have to return the wrapper. So return wrapper. Now see where I'm returning the wrapper. I'm not returning the wrapper inside the wrapper function. Coming out of the wrapper function inside the decorator function, okay, I'm returning the wrapper that we have seen already in functions. This is a feature of a function. That's why if a function is a that's why a function is a what? It's basically a first class object because of this feature. Okay. Now, see, let's see that this decorator which we have created is satisfying these three things or not. which makes it a decorator. So it is taking a function as an input. Yes, it is taking a function as an input. It's adding some extra feature, functionality, or behavior. Yes, it is acting uh, features, functionality, or behavior. Okay. Then we are returning the modified function. So as you can see, yes, we are returning the modified function. Okay. This is the modified function. As you can see, the wrapper function is the modified function, and we are returning it inside the decorator. Okay. Now, this is all what you have created a decorator. Now, where to apply it? How, where you have created the normal function, how you will apply it in the normal function? Let's see that. So for applying it, first of all, you have to create the normal function. Okay. Let's say this is the normal function. Okay. Now, for applying this decorator on this function, say underscore hello, what you have to do, just in the very next line, means just in the very previous line. Okay, if you have created the function first and then you are applying the decorator, so just in the very previous line, what you have to do, you have to just add at the rate and your decorator name. Okay, so at the rate symbol is compulsory, and then whatever your decorator name is. So in my case, my decorator name is decorator itself, so I've written decorator. This will do what? Is this proper syntax will do what? It is going to add all the features, behavior, functionalities to your normal function. Okay, means it basically, it will be like this, that you are passing this say hello function, okay, in the decorator. It's just like that. How you have seen this say hello will be put here, okay, and it will be passed like this. So that's why, say, suppose this say hello is a function and this func is also a function which we are taking as a parameter. This say hello will go here, okay, then it will come inside the wrapper class. First, this print function will work, then your say hello function will be called, and then surprise, and then after function runs will be executed. Now, for executing this, one more thing is necessary, that you have to call the normal function. So let's say def say hello. So you have to call the normal function by writing the function name followed by the parenthesis. You can see here, first add wrapping paper, then the function execution means hello Python, then surprise, and then after function runs get executed. Okay. Now this is the simplest example of decorators. Now remember, I have told you that where to use the arguments. I have told you that in the wrapper function also we can apply or we can add the arguments. Now, at when you will know that when you have to add arguments or when you have to add keyword arbitrary arguments, when you have to add variable length arbitrary arguments, or what type of argument when we have to add. Okay, see, first of all, you have to think of the normal function. Whenever you are creating the decorator, you have to think of the normal function, that what are the behaviors or what are the inputs taken by your normal function. Okay, so suppose in my situation, in this very first example, say hello is not taking any parameter. That's why my wrapper function is also not taking any parameter. Okay, but what if the function which I'm going to create will take a parameter, then what we will do? So for that also there is one more example, so let's see that. Okay, and then we'll continue. If anyone has problem, they can let me know in the chat. If no, so we'll continue with our intermediate level questions. Okay, it seems people are busy today because as most of them are not joined. Okay, very okay, it's okay. They can watch the live session anytime. So yeah, what we can do, let's see one more example, that is by using, by putting parameters in the wrapper function. Okay, so def decorator, Okay, we are passing function as a parameter. Now before starting with the decorator function, what I'll do, I'll just simply first of all create a function called as add, which will take two parameters a and b, and which is going to return a plus b. Okay, which is going to return a plus b, and I'll just print it also. Let me just comment this line. Let me show you the execution. As you can see, 15 is being printed. Okay, so as you can see, 15 is the output of this. Obviously 5 plus 10 is 15. We are getting it. Okay, now guys, there is one situation. I want to add some extra behavior. Suppose I want to add, whenever I'm calling the function, before calling the function, it should print before function runs and after function runs. Means after function execution, it should print after function runs. Okay, so I want to add two print functions before and after the function call. Okay, so for that, now this is the decorator property. So now we'll need to create a decorator. Okay, so def decorator, it's taking function as a parameter. Now we'll create the wrapper function. This is the wrapper function. Okay, now in this wrapper functions, first of all, we have the normal function with us, that is add, which is taking two parameters. Okay, but this is the add function, so it can take three parameters also, it can take four parameters also. So basically what we can say, that the number of parameters for this case is AB, so we can assume that it is 2, so we can take two parameters. But what if there will be three parameters or four parameters? Then, so decorator is created not specifically for one function. Okay, that is also one approach. The decorator is not specifically created for one function. It is created for in such a way, means that it can be applied to multiple functions. So that's why try to keep or try to use the arbitrary label arguments. Okay, so you can use the variable length arbitrary arguments, or you can use the keyword arbitrary arguments. Okay, or you can use both also, that whenever the situation is demand if the situation is demanding for variable length, go with that. If keyword arbitrary length, so go with that. So you can add both. Now this is, we have added the parameter to the wrapper class. Then let's add the behaviors. Okay, so before function runs this, then I'll take a result and I'll store the function call in that, and I'll return the function call with args and awargs. Okay, like this way, and then I'll print after function runs. Okay, that's it. Let's return the result. We'll return the result inside the wrapper only, and we'll return the wrapper uh, outside the wrapper. Okay, obviously then only it will be executed. So yeah, now guys, that's all. We have created the decorator. Now we have to apply it. So for applying it, you remember, same syntax will be used. Just in the very previous line where you want to apply this decorator, you have to just write the name of the decorator, that is decorator. Now this feature will be applied to your add function. Okay, let's see it. Before function runs, after function runs, and then 15. Okay, so that is the output. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now when to add it, when you have functions where it is necessary, in that functions are taking parameters, so obviously you have to use. That's why, so suppose if I have one more add function. Okay, let's say def add one, and in this the parameter is taking, okay, return a plus b plus c. Okay, let's say this is the function, and we have to apply the decorator this also, means same feature I have to apply in this function also. So what I'll do, I'll just copy it, let's paste it over here, and let's call add one, let's say 15, so output will be 30. Okay, so this is how you can change it. So now you don't need to change the decorator for each type of function for addition. Okay, if the number is changed also, suppose if let's make it asterisk C. So now I can give many number of arguments. Okay. Okay, it should not be like this. It should be like, we cannot use like this. Okay, I'll give you the example for this. Okay, so let's make it simple only. Yeah, so 30. Now, I hope now those who are new or those who are watching this video for the first time, they will understand what is decorator and the basic approach to start with the decorator. Okay, now because we have already two live session based on basic level of decorators, so now I'll switch to uh, our problem solving, okay, area. That is, today it is basically based on solving intermediate level problems. So okay, so let's start with that. So guys, the first question for today is, it is based on uh, logging informations of a function. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to create a decorator that is going to log the start and the end of a function execution. Okay, so let's create the decorator logger in which we'll pass the function as a parameter. Okay, now as you guys already know the basics of it, so now I'm not going to explain the very small topics, okay, which I'll feel which is very important. I'll explain only those things. If anyone have problem in any of the small things which you have not understood, then let me know in the chat, then I'll explain you. Okay, okay, now I'm going to use attribute for printing the function name, that is underscore underscore name underscore underscore. Okay, so this is going to give me the name. So I'll just uh, in the wrapper, what I'll do, I'll just call the function and I'll just put it that inside function call, starting the function whatever the function name is, and then finish with this function. Okay, simple. I'll just keep that. Okay, so in the result I'll just store the function call asterisk args double asterisk kwargs, that is there, then print finished with function. Okay, we'll return the result and we'll return the wrapper. Okay, now let's create the function and let's keep the function name as process data. Okay, this function will not take anything as a parameter. It is going to simply print a processing data. Now, if you real time working on anything like that and you want the information of the function that when it is started and when it is ended, suppose if you are performing any, you have created a function for performing a data analysis, okay, or for cleaning, okay, or for just training or testing the data. So then what you can do, then you can apply this. So whatever the function you have created, all the operations you can put it over here. Okay, because our topic is decorator, I'm not going that much deep in this function. Okay, but if you have your function, you can create your own function and you can create this decorator. Then what you can do, let's just add the at the rate logger and let's just call the function process data, and you will see the output starting process data, then processing the data, and then finish the function process data. It's so simple. Okay, so whatever the analysis part is there, that will be done So first of all, it will say starting the processing data means your function. Then whatever the analysis is done, it will be performed. It why means in your function it could take 1 or 2 minutes, and then at the end it will say finish process data. Means you don't have to be worried. This decorator can be applied on whatever the functions you have created for processing data or for performing your task, and you can just print this message with that particular function name. Suppose uh, what happens when you work with threading, so you just run multiple functions at the same time. Okay, so at that time, which function is being started and which function is ended, that you have to know at real time. So then this decorator is very useful at that approach when you are using that approach. Okay, because it will let you know that which process has started. Okay, then when that process will finish, means that function will finish also, then also it will let you know. Okay, and you don't need to create it for every function each time. Once you have created, you can easily apply it to any number of functions. So it's nice. Okay. uh, Now there is one more good problem which is based on caching. Okay, now those who don't know about caching is basically there is a storage called as cache memory. Okay, if you guys know cache memory, some pronunciation is, see guys, pronunciation is based on different persons. Okay, some people say cache memory, some people say cache memory. So it's like that. Okay, I use both of them. Okay, whenever. Okay, so cache memory. So whenever you use this type of memory, what happens? Suppose if there are some tasks which are repetitive in nature. Okay, for some example, let's say we have to find the uh, square of 4, that is 16, and again there is a function call for finding the square of that number only. Okay, so then what you can do, then you can create the decorator. Okay, and you can call the decorator on those functions. So what will happen if the same value is encountered again? So it will store that value in whatever you will create the storage unit, whatever storage unit you are creating, you can store that output in that. So if the first function call has the same uh, number or same value, and the second function call or the third function call has also the same value, then that, because if it has the same value, so output will also be same. So then what you can do, then this cache decorator will simply give you the result. It is not going to give again execute that function, because as you know, for suppose if you have a function and you call that function 2 times, so 2 times that function will be executed. Okay, but with this approach, if the value is same, so output will also be same. If the same function is called with same value 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, so it will store that value, means whatever the output is, and it is directly going to give you the output from that storage cache unit. Okay, whatever the storage unit you are using. So mostly we use the dictionary only. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood the situation and understood the problem. Now let's do the solution. Okay, but do the programming with the help of programming. Okay, so I hope the question is clear. If not, then I'll just write it for you guys. Okay, so that if anyone watches at their free time also, so they will understand the problem easily and they'll find the solution and they'll see the solution. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to create a decorator that is basically going to catch the functions results. Okay, to avoid the recomputation. Okay, means again the function is computing the same values for the same output, so we don't want that. Okay, we want to save time. So that's why I'm going to create a function or a decorator named as cache, which is going to take function as a parameter. Okay, that is not the new thing. So store, now we are creating a store, as you can see, and we have kept it as a empty curly braces, which means a empty dictionary. Okay, now most of the people will get confused with set and dictionary. Guys, if you just leave it like this, like empty curly braces, so it always create a dictionary. Okay, If you want to create an empty set, you have to use the set constructor that we have already discussed in the data structure live session. So you guys can go and watch that if there is any confusion in that. Okay. Now let's create the wrapper. And what we're going to do, we are going to check for the in parameters, whatever the functions we will have with us. If those functions have the same value, so what you will do, if they have the same value, so for first function call, there will be nothing. So whatever the value will be, that will be stored in store. For the second function call, if the same function is encountered with same value, so it is not going to again recompute the function. In place of that, it is just simply going to do what? It's just simply going to give you the value which it has stored. Okay, I'll explain it more uh, in more detail. Let me just first create the decorator. Okay, now guys, here I'm checking if the argument, if this one, if the argument is already in the store. Okay, so I'm checking for the key, guys. Okay, if this args is already present as a key in the store dictionary, so what I'm going to do, I'll just first of all print a message that fetching from cache memory. Okay, and I'll make the end look like this so that it should be printed in one line if it is present in a store. Then on the store, what I'm going to do, then I'm going to return store. Okay, and I hope you guys know that how to deal with dictionary. Whenever you have to print any value present in the dictionary, what you can do, you have to write the dictionary name, square braces, and write the name of the key. So args is the name of the key. Okay, which will be different based on the values. So it is, this line is going to return the value if it is found in the store, if it is found here. Okay, then what we are going to do, coming out of the conditional statement, now we'll call the function call. So if this condition will be true, then well and good, then this will be done. Okay, and it will directly, because this is returned, so it will directly come out of the function, so it is not going to execute this line. Okay, this function call. But if this condition is not true and the value which we are passing at the function call is a unique value, so then that will be stored here. Okay, that will be also stored. So now we have dealt with the value which has found, which is already present in a store. Now the values which are unique, so that should be stored in a store, that should be stored in this what you say, in this dictionary. So for that, what you can do, first of all, call the function, then do what, on the store with that particular argument, add the result. Okay, so whatever the function will be called, that value will be stored in result, and that result we are storing it as a value in the key of this store dictionary. Okay, then we'll return the result, and coming out of the wrapper, we'll return the wrapper function. That's it, we have successfully created the decorator for cache function results to avoid recomputation. Now let's create first of all the function. So I'll create a function to perform the square of a number. I'll take n as a parameter, and I'll do what, I'll just print one message that computing. After computing, I'll just return n. Okay, now let's just apply this uh cache decorator over here. So I've applied it. Now as you guys know how to apply it, so okay, no need to explain again. Then a square, let's pass this value as 4. Okay, and I'll do what, I'll again call the same function with the same value. Okay, and let's see the output. So first of all, for the first call, computing 16. Okay, let me do what, let me just add the end here also. Okay, so that it will be more clear, so that you guys don't get confused. Okay, yeah, so computing, this computing is there, and then n into n, that is 16. Then you will see for the second call, fetching from cache. Okay, so it's directly fetching from kk and it is directly giving 16. Means recomputed, because as you can see, if it will be recomputed, then it should give us computing and then the value 16, which has been done for the first call. For the second call, the function is not again be recomputing. No, it's just directly doing what? Whatever the value is stored over here, it is fetching from there. Okay, so time time taken will be less, and it is more efficient if you have same type of function, and if you are encountering same type of value, so you can use this. Okay, I hope the use case is clear. For me, this is very helpful. These types of decorators are very much useful for a programming, for a programmer like me. Okay, so I hope that you guys will also bring this following example in real life use case. Okay, now see, modification is upon you guys. This function is one simple example function. Okay, you can create your own function and you can check it out. Okay, so it depends on you how you want to use it. You can pass some keyword arbitrary arguments if you feel that you need it, so you can do so. So it's on you. Okay, so I hope that will be clear. Okay, now guys, let's see the next thing, that is for validation. Okay, validation means what actually we are going to do means, the problem is basically uh, we have to create a decorator that will do what, that is going to validate a function argument. Okay, now how? See, it's basically is going to do what, it will just simply, suppose if we have an argument, okay, and we want, we have a situation or we have a condition with us that that argument should not be negative, it always should be positive. It cannot be uh, less than 0. So if it is less than 0, then do what, then basically raise any value error. Okay, and if it is a positive value, then well and good, then execute whatever that function is want to perform. Okay, so that we want to do. So let's see the uh, let me first write the problem. So what we have to do, we have to write or create a decorator that is going to validate if a function, if a function arguments are positive. Okay, so when it is positive, it will validate it, so it will be executed. If it is not, so it will raise an value error. That is the thing what we are going to do. So let's create the decorator, and I'll keep the decorator name as validate positive, like this. Let's pass the func. Then what we are going to do, let's create the wrapper. In the wrapper, I'll take arbitrary label arguments. Okay, variable length arbitrary arguments. Then what I'll do, I'll just simply take, I'll use a function which is also a built-in function in Python, that is any. The use of this any function is basically if whatever we are going to put inside this any function, okay, if any one of this is true, so this any will be executed. The for false, what we have to do, for false everything means every condition should be false, then only it will be false. So what we'll do, we'll check for that if x is less than 0. So if x is less than 0 for x in args, okay, so is this any is a built-in function which returns true only i- at least one condition is true. If every condition is false, then it will return false. So for what we are checking for, we are checking for a x which will be a loop variable if that x is less than 0. And what is that x? That x is a loop variable which we are going to see in args. Okay, args is a variable length argument. So what will happen, it basically takes all the values as a tuple. So in a tuple we can apply a loop. So that is the reason over here to use any. Then if any one of those is less than 0, if any one of the values which we are going to pass is less than 0, so it means the any will encounter true. When it will encounter true, so condition will be true, so we are going to raise a value error, and that value error is like this. We are going to use the raise. value error, and you can pass a message that arguments must be whatever message you want to put. I just want to put that the arguments should be positive. So yeah, then coming out of the condition, if the condition is false, then do what? Then execute the function. Okay, so return a function with args. Coming out of the function, return uh, the wrapper function. Now your validate function has been decorator has been created. Now apply it on whatever function you write. So I'll create a function for calculating area, okay, which is going to take two values, length and width, okay, and return L into W, length into width, then print calc area, and let me apply my decorator also. So let me just copy it and paste it over here. Okay, so I have to pass the values also. Let's say 5 and 10. So for 5 and 10, 5 length and 10 width, the area will be 50. You can means you can just add more features, that square meters and whatever you want to add. Now let's check for a negative value. Okay, now straight away for a negative value, it is just raising a value error. Okay, means this line is being executed. This is being true. So this raise is raising a value error, which or the message which we have put there, that arguments must be positive. Okay, so this is how you can validate any function. Now guys, this was the condition which I have taken. Okay, now this condition can be a real life condition also. Suppose you are encountering some errors again and again and you want to fix it. So what you can do, you can just apply a condition over there. There is one built-in function all also. Okay, so all is there, any is there. You can use any one of them based on your use case, and you can just create a decorator to validate your function. Okay, so you can do so. Let me just fix it. Let me just give a positive value. Yeah, so this will be your output. I hope. Now all the problems which I have taken today are based on industry level. These things are used on industry in a more elaborated way, okay, in a more detailed way. I'm taking simple examples so that it will be easy for us to understand, okay. But you can just see, you have created the decorator, you can manipulate the function will be with you already. You have to just add this, and you have to just change the condition, and whatever value means whatever error you want to raise, that thing, only two things you need to change and everything will be same. Function will already be with you. So, okay. Now, guys, the next problem is, this problem is also very unique in nature, and I think that it's used frequently in industries. See, we have a situation with us that the compilers or the interpreter for Python, what happens, no, whenever you have multiple calls or when you call a function, so what happens, it needs some time to get executed, okay. And suppose you have to call the function 2 3 times, okay, simultaneously, but what you want, that the first function call should be executed, okay. You do not want to collapse. I know it will not collapse because first function call will execute, then only the second one will execute. But what I want, in middle of them, if you want some seconds, okay, if you want some seconds or minutes to call the next function, okay, so you can do what, you can just limit that thing. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to create a decorator that will limit a function to run only after every few seconds. Okay, suppose 5 seconds, suppose 3 seconds. Okay, like this. So our problem is that what we have to do, we have to create a decorator that is going to limit a function to run only once every 3 seconds. Okay, so we have, suppose we are calling the function 3 times, the same function we are calling it 3 times. So what will happen, it will call the function only after 3 seconds. Okay, only after 3 seconds. Before 3 seconds is not going to call it. So for that we have to create the decorator. Let's see how we can create it. So first of all, for that we have to import one module called as time. Okay, because we'll need this module. Okay, why we'll need it? Because we have to give the time. Okay, that for after this many seconds. So for that we need this. Okay, so def rate limiter, and in this we are passing seconds. Okay, now this is not the decorator name, but it will be used as the decorator name. The decorator function we are going to create it, in which we are going to pass the function, but this seconds is not the function. This is basically the example for that quiz question which I have asked, that can a decorator will have parameter of its own. Yes, a decorator can have the parameter of its own, and this is how it can have it. So let's see this example and it will be more clear. Okay, so you have maintain the last called as 0, last call of the function, and then no, first of all we'll create the decorator. Okay, then we'll create the, so in the decorator we'll pass the function. Now we'll create the wrapper function, which is going to wrap it with features. So, and we'll store the time of now. So now we need this time module. Okay, so store the time of now. And what we'll do, if now minus the last called, which is at the 0 position and is less than the seconds. Which seconds? The seconds which will pass as a parameter in the decorator. If it is less than that, okay, so now minus last called, okay, last called will be always stored at 0th position. Okay, if it is less than that many seconds, so then the condition will be true, and when the condition will be true, then I want to raise an exception that too many requests. Okay, now this is an example of let's say when we are calling multiple, means suppose there is a function for API calls. Okay, so we are putting the request on the server for continuously. So it will do what? It will put the load on the server, and then the server might not respond for a few minutes. If your server is, means see now this nowadays server are more efficient, but if you are working with the previous types, so then these functions can be very much useful. Okay, that you can just rate the function, means rate the API calls. Okay, you can apply a timer that once it is called, so wait for 5 seconds, let it respond to it, and when it will respond, so after this many seconds it will respond, so then another take another call. Okay, so for this purpose you can use it. So now if this time is less, so it will raise an exception. Okay, if the condition is not true, if it is satisfying the time, then change the last called. Okay, so on the 0th position do what? Put the now. Okay, so change now. So this now will do what? It will just add a latest now. Okay, then we'll return the function. A latest time will be stored on the list first position. Okay, now we'll calling the function with kw args and kwargs. Then coming out of it, we'll call the wrapper. Then coming out of it, we'll call the decorator. Yeah, we need to call the decorator also now, because as you can see there are 3 levels of function used here. One is the rate limiter, which is taking the seconds. Then there is the decorator, which is taking function as a parameter. Then there is a wrapper function, which is taking the functions, that parameters that our function is going to take. So 3 level nested approach is followed here. So that's why we have to follow that approach. And then we have to pass the rate limiter over here. This is the decorator. And let's say we have a function call which is making an API request each time, okay, to any server. Now I'm not creating the call, exactly the call, okay. That function you guys already have with you, okay? So I'm just showing you a simple use case that if there is a situation or there is a function like this, then you can apply a rate limit, okay? Then I'll do what? I'll just uh, call this API request, okay? Okay, this is not going to take the parameter. This will take the parameter. Let's say 3 seconds. So I have applied 3 seconds over here, okay? Because this rate limiter is taking seconds as a parameter, so three I've applied, okay? And what I'll do, let me call it, okay? I'm not waiting for, okay, let me just first call this. Okay, okay. This is a function. So I need to put the parenthesis API response. Okay. So for the first call, no problem. It is giving you API response. Yeah, it should give you. Now let's see, we have two calls. And now first call will be done. For the second call, because the time is not appropriate, it is less than 3 seconds. It is less than 3 seconds. So this condition is being true. When this condition is true, we are raising an exception error. That exception is that too many requests. Okay. So then what we can do? So if you want to apply it, if you're not waiting for that much time, so I'll just show you that if you'll wait for 3 seconds, then what will happen? So if you'll wait for 3 seconds, first API response will be called. Then after 3 seconds, second function will also be automatically called. Okay. If you'll wait for 4 seconds also, then also it will be called. But if it is less than three, then it will give you an uh, error, okay, exception. Let's suppose if it is true, if it is not waiting for 3 seconds, it's waiting for 2 seconds, then also it will give you an exception, okay? So you can just apply a rate timer, okay, for your API request so that your server should not be overloaded with the request, okay, and it should work properly. Okay, so I hope you guys are uh, understanding this. Now, the guys, the next problem is basically based on uh, ensuring the return time. Okay, let's say you have multiple functions, okay, and you always want that the function which you are using, it should always return a string value, okay, so that it will be easy for you to store it. So for that type of thing, what you can do, you can create your own decorator and you can apply it to your function, okay? So for, let me first write the problem to you, that is, write a decorator that will ensures that the function always returns a string. Okay, what we can do, def ensure str, that is there. Then let's pass a function as a parameter. Then def wrapper asterisk args double asterisk kwargs, like this, result, and we are just calling the function now. And a simple approach will be used here, and that is what we are going to call the string function. Okay, you can call the string constructor also, and whatever the result is, that will put inside the result constructor. It will do what? It will automatically convert whatever the output is, it will convert it into a string. That means typecasting to a string can always be possible, means any data type can be typecast to string, because the string is what? It is a sequence of characters. So that's why it based the memory is based on the characters. Okay, so yeah, then let's create the function first. Let's say there is a function to get the ID. So it is taking a parameter as num, and this is also returning a num only. Means it's taking a num parameter and it is returning num. But when we'll apply the ensure str, what will happen? Whatever the output is, that is automatically going to be converted into a string. So we can check the type also. Some directly using print type get ID. Let's say we are passing integer value 1 to 3. Let's see what should be the output. So as you can see, we are checking the type. Now we are passed an integer, but it is automatically converted into an str. So that is how you can ensure your return type, okay, by creating a decorator for you. Okay, guys, one more problem is there, and we'll keep this problem as the last problem for today. Okay, this problem is basically uh, for mask, or you can say for hiding the sensitive data. It means suppose you are creating a decorator. In that we have to uh, pass some sensitive data like passwords or sensitive files. So what you can do, not files, means some types of data, you can enhance the code and make it for a file also, you can do so. So what we will do for sensitive data like password and all, what we can do, we can convert it into an asterisk thing, so it will be not be visible. So how we can do that? So first let me write the problem. So what you'll do, we have to create a decorator that basically masks the sensitive data like the passwords, like some files, some important words, okay, like that. So for that what we can do, let's create mask sensitive, which will take a function as a parameter, def wrapper, which will take both args and asterisk keyword arbitrary arguments. In this, what we are going to do, uh, we are going to mm, target a particular word, that is password. If we are, suppose if the user is adding some values like username John, suppose the user is putting some keyword arbitrary arguments, username John and password, whatever that password is, okay. Now, if it is passing something as password, so that password should be tracked, and what should be the length of that password, okay, that original value of that password is. With that length of that, asterisk will be multiplied. So what will happen? It will create, with that length, it will create asterisks. So it will be shown like that, okay. So original function will not be affected, but whatever it will be returned, that will, in that, this password will not be shown. In place of the password you will see the asterisks, okay. So if password in result, now you can change this password with whatever key you are going to pass, the user will be pass, or you feel whatever the values are which can be kept confidential, with that you can replace that, or you can add and operators and you can just make it more big, okay. The condition depends on you guys. It's always depends on the use case, not the developers, on whatever the situation is or for what you're doing the programming, okay. Now on the result password, what we are going to do, we'll take asterisk and we'll multiply this asterisk with the total number of result, okay, and we'll access the password. And then coming out of the condition, will return the result and will return the wrapper. Now let's create the function for get user, which is going to return, let's say it will return the username, it will return username, then let's say there is one value called as password, this one key called as password, and the password is, now this password you have to pass it, okay? But when you'll return it, when you'll print it, then what will happen? Get user, and let's apply this. Okay, there is one name error. Name result is not defined. Oh, we forgot to define the result. Okay, so result will be, we'll store the function call over here. So like this. And now you'll see the username is visible and the password, for that password you have asterisks. So it is not guessable also, means the length is guessable, but what is the password, that is not clearly visible. Okay. So you can now put a mask on your sensitive data. Okay. And this is how you can create a decorator for that. Okay. Now only thing you need to change is this, the password, and here whatever the value will be you want to mask, that you have to put it over here. Or if you have multiple values, so you can put the AND condition and you can go on with that. Okay. So these were some of the intermediate industry level cases of using decorators which are used in industries in more enhanced way. That always depends on the person who develops it, who creates it. Okay, you can modify always. So yeah, okay guys, let's keep this much only for today. Okay, I hope you guys have learned something. Okay, and stay tuned up, stay learning. Uh, we'll see you in the next live session. Hopefully that will be uh, tomorrow on Sunday. And yeah, I'll just inform you guys whenever I'll have the live session. So now tomorrow the topic will be changed because I think we have seen uh, everything about the Python decorators. Now see, based on the situation, there could be multiple problems and the solutions could also be multiple. So I'll find a new topic on Python and we'll see you in tomorrow's live session. So thanks for watching the video till now. Okay.